Richard Parker, live and direct from Samoa. We don't tell you about these island girls, man. All around the world we've been. Still the only thing is that I love and adore straight from the Polynesian islands. This is going out to you, beautiful.
My Polynesian girl, you are my life. One day you will be my wife. Your love will always be mine until the end of time. My Polynesian girl, you are the one been sent from a heaven above. There's no one else in my heart. My Polynesian love. Oh, a pale Kiona. Sung a low la le. Ole aromoni. Ole o langane. Walatio Solomona. Nato ilalo ilelo fa. Nae o momonga. Ia avea pea oi maa umana mea. My Polynesian girl, you are my life. One day you will be my wife. Your love will always be mine until the end of time. My Polynesian girl, you are the one been sent from a heaven above. There's no one else in my heart. My Polynesian love. Pay a fit to all in line. My fool all oh, to far to Sione. Yeah, oh, lo wow. Le lama le MAHINA. If yo falling Jesus sulwia so uma. O lava ileunga. My Polynesian girl, you are my life. One day you will be my wife. Your love will always be mine until the end of time. My Polynesian girl, you are the one been sent from a heaven above. There's no one else in my heart. My Polynesian love.
Beautiful Polynesian queen, yeah, you shining. Trying to keep you by my side and keep you smiling. Trying to keep you up late nights, creeping them islands. Love the way you sway my way, mommy. You styling, breaking loose of all quality time. Can I get that? Sipping on the beach in Kauai. Is you with that? Obviously seen in your eyes. You think about me when you think about a man for your life, and I can be that for you. Yeah, I love passionately, I adore you. Keep you satisfied for real, I stay loyal. Never mind what anyone else say. It's you and I up in the air, give me the time of day. You down the ride with parked out front. Tell me what you waiting for. Come roll with it, look so young, son of Samoa. My city, I ride for. Your love is to die for. My
Polynesian girl, you are my life. One day you will be my wife. Your love will always be mine until the end.
Ke whakatolo vai ko lata, kau rea tonu si se o tō whainga tāani. Tēnā a te whiri koe tika urua ki tako se te mau ko whihawaki. Kau vete vete ki ai ke mahino, te ria ai lao, moho moho. Seuke si e te fusi moho moho, e nā tula pe i walela ke mahino. Amusia koe oku ke sio, asia ta koro moe loto nonga. Ka te si ino po whakaumiumino, e ale wasi i whaia i waio. I kai lama e a poto i tana, ka kene pea usisi o topa i tata. Maka aki o peile mahia, te ke tatawa ape, nai ai puronga. Si ile ai te moro te ui ui pe, kua ke motu i au ke usi i he. Ka ne ongo ia te ke pule pe, i he koro oku ia te koe. Ka e whango pe ko te si i wale, i sa te onopo ora tuli lope. E ko e sinoni ko au au fore, e i kai hautu e toi hake. E umakai kau si i fokia, o ke nana aki ai lohi mata. Pea kahiki le waho mai moa, i isi i mai kau si i fokia. Mai kona pua oku ke ipe, mana tu i kita e kuo te si i he. Mo oni e lea e oku pe, teu si i fokia ki isi pite. Toki mahino e ni asi e te si i, e te matawaka pea ke hori ke piki. Ka ne utatai i hatai pisi i, whakatomalani a kuosi i tomu.
Up
Hey
Koe ngolele ni me he mama you and I limited kainga tonga. Te lawa vea tongi ha so pingi me ha fono pe pe te mau tili wa tai tongi ki family ki tonga eki pe mo va. O mau mau e po hamoa po sipi kapapolo pata mo kolo keke. Ka koe ni. Te ruta ki mai ki ngahi fika koe ni. Ki Amerikani ki a fokai to ma fileo ki he ono ni manoa fa fitaha tolu fa no fitu ki Australia ki a fai fikau nau a sivi ki he noa wha nima fitu tolu noa nima wha whaua pia ki no sila ki he whika telefoni noa ua nima taha noa fitu hiwa noa nima ki tonga iki ki a whaos mama ki he walu ano tolu nima ano nima tolu pe koe walu wha noa tolu ano wha nima pe ko mea pe au ki he Facebook page ko ia whaos mama o mamata ki ngai whafonga fia ko ia ko mautiriwa e nau ngai shoppingi oa koe mama you and I limited dia.
No TALI alo ni kau to fai pe au pule mo noto Peteu si ikau peteu si ino pakai no ngai pe si okuloto Disi Italia lo ni kau to fai pe au pule mo loto Peteu si ikau peteu si ino pakai no ngai pe si okuloto Teu fiu hono sivi fuli sia toa na eta mele ia taimi Kia te koe moata homo apini moi famili ke tu ngai ho o whaka fisi Fiu hono sivi fuli sia toa na eta mele ia taimi Kia te koe mohata homo apini moi famili ke tu ngai ho o whaka fisi Sinoni ke kanga o se kanga ke ho o koe a kau tu ule e hala Ke upe paki moi whai ngata a whai ngata a take e wape koe ia mo ke kata Te urua ai sinoni ke kanga o se kanga ke uho o koe a kau tu ule e hala Ke upe paki moi whai ngata a kake e mape koe ia mo ke kata Kake e mape koe ia mo ke kata
Si i pea ke siu si i lau manu Langa i a si e te ofa pea a ke noa mo e kumanatu Wisa a si o tahua ne matu mai he waha FOLAU Tahine ofa ke na ato e ngaloa Tulau kauli o pea kapuang e masi aso Tahine oa e tataka lewa asi oloto Katuku ke tangi mahi wahe Kua lau au hoto whakapo Koe me a kakape Ta ahine ka koe loto Ta hine ka whai sia loto pea O whapeke ke lohi mai Peli ki tahi ai ki isino Ke au hi ai Hei ilona amole Peke ina e hai ka whekai He kua ke ta e ofa Koe ia te kitani Tahine te uhiki ni mao Fuaka wahola ta whale He kua te ilo e kita Osi o ta whaka osi e Io kane o moi a te upali a ma vai pe Whai a hofu ulo tona kai Tuku ke whai a ki e
She was a celebrity in Britain. So once again, today's episode is dedicated to Salute, the Queen of Tonga. It was when the Queen of Tonga was in London, and my grandparents shared a car with her when she was driving around after some big event. It wasn't the coronation, because here's Salute at the coronation. Popularity was at its peak, so there were thousands of people lining the streets and, smiling and waving and cheering. And Grandma said,
So I just smiled and waved back at them all, and it was all very lovely.
what? Yeah, oh, that's pretty cool. Here's the thing though, I asked Grandma about it just before she died, almost 20 years ago, in her mid-90s, and she had no memory anymore of either the ride or the Queen of Tonga. But we do, and here she is again in Australia, on her way home being interviewed.
During a brief stay in the city, Queen Sione gave Cathy her first ever newsreel interview.
I had a wonderful trip to England to attend the coronation of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth. I met the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh several times, and they are most charming. The coronation was a great occasion, and the memory of it will never die. Although I got a good soaking, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. And now that I'm back in Sydney, I am very pleased not only to be here amongst friends, but it's a step nearer home.
How cool is she, Anyhow, not long afterwards, Queen Elizabeth traveled to Tonga to meet Queen Salute.
Tongans, who formerly greeted visitors in silence.
Kesi I ofan mana tu kiatea Kakoe matu esenani Tau atu iamaa Kakoe matu esenani Tau atu iamaa
By 1400, a second royal dynasty was created, the Tu'iha Takalaua. By 1610, the third and most powerful line of kings emerged, the Tu'ikanokupolo. All these royal lines continued into the 19th century. The 19th Tu'ikanokupolo was Taufa'ahau, who became known as King George I, ruling in Tonga for 48 years until 1893. A devout Christian, Taufa'ahau I united all the Tongan islands under his leadership, freed the commoners from bondage to the chiefs, and granted a constitution in 1875, thus becoming the father of modern Tonga. Unlike other Polynesian leaders, he was able to steer a political course that kept Tonga for Tongans, avoiding the specter of annexation to foreign powers. When pressed by some of his people to yield to a particular foreign country, the king declared in a sweeping gesture, "We will give Tonga only to God." Hence the Tongan national motto, "God and Tonga are my inheritance," imprinted on the modern Tongan seal. King Tubou II, great-grandson of King Tubou I, acceded to the throne in 1893. Suave and sociable, he married Lavinia Veiongo, the great-granddaughter of Laufilitonga, the last of the Tu'itonga royal line. Mafile o Pilolevu, heir to the Tongan throne through 2 royal lines, and destined to be one of the most beloved personalities and leaders in the world. In 1917, Salote Pilolevu married Tungi Mailefihi, direct descendant of the Ha'atakalaua royal line. Well educated and deeply immersed in Tongan history and traditions, Salote was crowned in 1918 to reign for 47 years. Salote's union with Tungi produced 3 children, in whom all 3 royal lines come together. The youngest son, Tuku'aho, passed away in childhood. In 1947, Queen Salote presided over the double wedding of her sons Prince Taufa'ahau and Prince Fatafehi, with Halaivalu Mata'aho and Melinaite Tupo Moheofo at the palace. Besides being involved in matters of state, Queen Salote became the foremost poet and genealogist in her nation, taking pains to gather, teach, and preserve the very best Tongan traditions and customs. Salote encouraged the arts in ways that made dancing and singing an enduring part of the Tongan nature. She espoused the enduring love of being Tongan in her subjects. During her reign, the palace grounds and the surrounding compounds became the center of cultural activities. Tall, majestic, and gracious, Queen Salote was more than a superb poet and statesman. She was preeminently a mother and grandmother. Clearly, Queen Salote was beloved among her own people. But when was it she captured the imagination and the hearts of the world? It was in London during the coronation ceremonies of Queen Elizabeth II of England. Tens of thousands lined the streets to see the parade of monarchs from around the world. Unfortunately, it was a wet and rainy day, and the royal carriages were covered for the protection of the visiting kings and queens of the world, but not Queen Salote's carriage. She refused to cover up, explaining that if the people could get wet in honor of England's queen, so could she. For in the Tongan custom, one would never seek one's own comfort in the presence of majesty. Queen Elizabeth returned the favor in a royal visit to Tonga in 1953. When Queen Salote passed away in 1965, the world mourned, but the legacy continues. One of the most important parts of this legacy is in the person of her eldest son, Taufa'ahau Tupo IV, crowned on July 4, 1967. The rightful heir to each of Tonga's royal titles, Taufa'ahau is a devout Christian and a devoted husband and father.
With Wix, you can create a professional website that looks
Paenga o e le tio VAKE tari FOLAU. Ai whakawhehoko taki anga o e tonga I he kolope. This is Radio VAKE tari FOLAU, where Tongans can connect globally.
His Majesty King Taufa'ahau Tupu IV has ruled his South Pacific people for nearly 40 years. You'd think from the relative peace here in Tonga that people were pretty happy with their lot. But all is not well in the Friendly Islands. The royals and the nobles have much of the wealth and all of the influence, and the ordinary folk are getting restless. Every day they're hearing news stories of scandal, cronyism and corruption.
The rule of the king here in Tonga is dictatorial, oppressive and suppressive.
And one of the world's few remaining absolute monarchs is not about to relinquish any of his power. On the tiny island of Atata, the villagers live off the sea and the land with just a few modern adaptations. They've been brought up in a feudal system. Everyone knows their place. If you're a commoner, you stay that way for life. It's the King's great boast that Tonga has one of the highest literacy rates in the world. On this day every year, the people of Atata cross to the Big Island to shower their leader with gifts. In Tonga, it's the poor who offer to the rich, and they give them far more than they'll ever need.
They don't expect common people to criticize them. So once someone or a person criticizes them, it's so strange to them.
In a country where democratic change has never been on the agenda, Akalisi Pohiva stands for everything the ruling class despises. He's been sued 20 times and jailed twice for speaking out. It's not easy being the head of Tonga's pro-democracy movement and the leader of the country's only political party.
If they continue to remain stubborn, if they continue to hang on, hold on to power and ignore and completely ignore the people, people will rise, people will revolt.
It's opening day of a new hotel in the capital, Nuku'alofa. The owners have drawn an impressive crowd, including the king and his princess daughter.
I hope nobody suffers from function fatigue. There are a lot of
we all will.
Things on. We'll just have to have a cup of tea and a lie down when it's necessary. It's a very good idea.
In this town, business and politics are inseparable. The deputy chairman of the hotel is lawyer Clive Edwards. The same Clive Edwards who's Minister for Police, appointed for life by his confidant, the King. The people call him the Big Banana.
They call me a dog. They call me a face dog. They call me all sorts of names. The same people all the time, who also call the King a big pig.
In an earlier life, Clive Edwards was a practising barrister in New Zealand. But at home in Tonga, he thinks democracy is trendy and overrated.
These so-called democratic supporters would number about, in our estimation, about 50 people. But they're pretty vocal people. A democratic system of government is a very expensive system of government, and economically Tonga cannot afford it. Not only that, our system of government is a way of life.
country eager for revenue has become easy prey for entrepreneurs wanting to make a quick buck. In the late 1980s, the Tongan government came up with a scheme to sell the kingdom's passports for top dollar.
The cost for one passport at the time was 25,000 US dollars, which was, of course, a very big amount.
Enter the King's Court jester, Jesse Bogdanov, a flamboyant American banker who'd won the ear of His Majesty and persuaded him to invest the proceeds offshore.
We don't know. The money had gone. It's already lost.
How much money was lost?
26 million US dollars, so 52 Tongan paanga.
That's a lot.
Oh, it's a huge amount of money. Huge amount of money. But
an amount equal to half of Tonga's annual income.
And it was the king who should be blamed for the loss of the money.
Tonga's foray into global money-making schemes didn't end there, and the next misadventure would connect the kingdom's name with terrorism. Just last year, Israeli commandos intercepted a Tongan flag ship in the Red Sea. It was carrying 50 tonnes of weaponry, including anti-tank rockets, destined for the Middle East. The idea was to put tiny Tonga on the map as a nation offering ships a flag of convenience. It's a way for companies to evade international taxes and scrutiny. The trouble was, in Tonga's case, it attracted all the wrong sorts of customers. The CIA didn't like what it saw. It suspected Al-Qaeda was using some of the 62 Tongan flagships to move its operatives.
It wasn't for the pocket of one person, but it was something for the good of the country. And we were told it was okay, but we moved pretty quickly to cut it off and apologise for some of those ships, which is not our responsibility. They're not.
What about the selling of the passports?
What's wrong with that?
This is the next King of Tonga, His Royal Highness Crown Prince Tupatoa, beer baron, entrepreneur, internet guru, and a major player in Tonga's phone and electricity companies. The Crown Prince's critics say there's no place at the palace for a wheeler and dealer, but His Royal Highness says being an entrepreneur is what he does best.
If you grow things in a sort of real farmer, George type, it's looked upon as being far more respectable than being an entrepreneur. And I'm afraid there are a lot of dishonest entrepreneurs around the world, and also an awful lot of dishonest farmers. I can't see the difference, personally.
Tell me if and when...
It's snobbery, you know. I mean, it's a type of snobbery. Grenadiers. Pavlovsky Grenadiers.
Did you develop this interest at Sandhurst?
No, I was 12 years old when I started, before I went to Sandhurst.
The Crown Prince is a man of the world, filmmaker, history buff, master of languages, and a man who harbours some regret about Tonga's dealings in passports and flags.
Would you like to ensure that those sorts of schemes were never associated with Tonga again?
Yes, because they didn't work. It would have been different if it worked. I think it got serious when we found that some of the ships which are on the Tongan register were said to have been carrying arms for terrorists. And so when it got to that stage, we said, well, we should call it a day and abolish the scheme.
It's a sorry state, but more Tongan nationals live outside of the country than at home. And it's just as well they keep sending that money back. It's the biggest source of foreign income. The pro-democracy movement has found fertile ground offshore. Thousands of Tongans have come to Auckland for better education and jobs in the big city. And 2,000 kilometres from home, a determined expatriate is shaking the establishment to its core.
Hi guys. Because time we started in Tonga, of course, our main base of distribution is Tonga, so our main readership are in Tonga. We are also sending the newspaper over to Australia, in particular to New South Wales, where we're looking at probably about 25,000 Tongans there.
The Times of Tonga rolls off the presses twice a week. It's the news the royal family doesn't want you to read. In fact, the king hates it so much, he banned it. When publisher Kalafi Moala produced the paper back in Tonga, his offices were raided, and he even went to jail for writing stories that put the royals in a bad light.
It's being viewed as being rebellious, it's being viewed as being culturally insensitive, it's being viewed as being non-patriotic. And so the people in authority in Tonga are not used to being treated like that.
It is, if you have a rag that's scurrilous all the time and you have to try and correct it all the time, why should we put up with it? You tell me, why should we put up with a paper that has no standing here?
But whether the royals and their hardline police minister like it or not, the Times of Tonga is back on the streets. Readers can hardly wait for it to hit the newsstand. The country's Supreme Court ruled the ban was illegal. His Majesty was not amused. Now, in a grave challenge to freedom in Tonga, the King wants to change the constitution to ban publications that infringe cultural traditions. And he wants to take away power from the Supreme Court to overturn any new laws. It goes too far, even for the King's son and future ruler.
Freedom of speech, is guaranteed by the Constitution. And it's a mistake to try and restrict it. It's a matter of Parliament to decide, my dear. Ministers have always been trying to change the Constitution ever since I was a little boy, before I was born.
Why is it so important? What would happen if these amendments were passed? What would Tonga become?
A police state, literally. It would become a dictatorship. Yes, welcome to the Legislative Assembly.
Thank you. There is at least one royal who doesn't mind admitting his family has too much power. Prince Tupela Hake might be the King's nephew, but he's also a reformer.
To that seat and the ministers, the Crown.
He sits here in Tonga's token parliament. Most MPs are either chosen by the King or are hereditary nobles. 9 commoners make up a hopeless minority.
Does it worry you that His Majesty can't see how serious this is?
It certainly does. Certainly does.
What about these amendments to the Constitution? Why did you suggest that the Constitution should be amended to curb the right to free speech?
To curb the right of free speech? Which amendment did you read?
To put it frankly, I couldn't believe that somebody with intelligence will come out with those kind of laws. I would expect it to come out of Iraq. I would expect it to come out of the mind of Mugabe. But to come out of Tonga? No, outrageous.
This is where you end up in Tonga if you don't have a compassionate landlord. The tip dwellers of Nuku'alofa have just received word they have to move. They're not sure where they'll go, but it can't get any worse than this.
Tell me about the King's celebrations. Do you like the King here in Tonga?
Yeah, we really love him. This is his village.
You're living in the King's village?
Yeah. So we just get instruction from him if he says to us to go back where we come from.
Where are you going to go to?
Find somewhere else so we can live.
Have you got somewhere else?
No. Still finding it.
Not really dressed for herding.
The Tonga of the 21st century has preserved land ownership arrangements of hundreds of years ago. The royals and nobles hold much of the land. The commoners are mostly tenants. A reformist royal wants to see change, but nothing in Tonga has ever been rushed.
We, the peoples of the Pacific, agreed that the democratic form of government is the preferred system of government. But, as the saying goes, no one shoe fits all. So we'd like to do it in our own time, in our own way.
In Tonga, the party for the King's birthday rolls on. His Majesty can part a crowd, but stopping the tide of change may not be so easy.
Young people will not, in the future, will not tolerate what our leaders are doing. If they continue to refuse to make allowance, to make way for change, the human nature is the same everywhere.
You could see
there is always a limit, and leaders are bound to to understand that limit.
I don't dislike them, but I think they've served their purpose because they're not intelligent enough to govern this country. Those elected officials who will govern this country eventually are out there somewhere. They just haven't come forward.
Tongans are forgiving of an old monarch whose ideas were formed before many of them were born. But there are few signs that the next in line will be any different.
We don't want a third world democracy. It's quite laughable now, unstable. In some cases it would be perfectly dangerous. Your country is about to send 2,000 troops to the Solomon Islands. That's what happens when you impose democracy overnight for the most undeniable reasons, without bothering to build the economic structure which would support democracy and give politicians an incentive to behave ethically.
Tonga is proud it's the only South Pacific country that's never been invaded or colonised. Instead, it has its own extravagant monarchy. A royal family that prospers while the people have little.
We're calling for Tonga to just catch up with the rest of the world. And we're not talking here about an overthrow of government. We're not talking here about a replacement of the monarchy. We're not talking about it. We're talking about a democratization and a reform that will allow people to choose their government. It will allow the government to become accountable to the people.
Hugging the international dateline, the brochures say this is where time begins. It's also in many ways where time stands still. You can't imagine violent rebellion here, but then the Tongans will tell you
Ko e ongo lele ni me he mama.
She was a mother for all Tongans, even though she was the Queen Mother. But her love and her care for her people. We miss the late Majesty.
The 90-year-old Queen passed away in Auckland after travelling there for health reasons.
Most of us are still under shock, and I think it's impacted us much as it impacted other people, but we try to carry on with our normal duties, and we try to do, especially in Tonga, with their majesties in Tonga, we have to hold our mourning time in check until after her funeral. And we try to comfort others who still can't get over the fact that she is gone.
Queen Halaivalu and her late husband, King Tauwhaautupou IV, ascended to the throne in 1965, and they reigned the Pacific Kingdom for over 40 years. She was the mother of two monarchs, King George Tupou V and the current King Tupou VI. She was the mother of the nation.
My grandmother had a very big heart to love. And to love is not only just a biblical value, but also a Tongan value. To love people is to be able to forgive, to be kind, and to be generous. Especially when it came to her duties to the people, she would always make time for that.
Before her return, the Queen Mother lay in state at Atalanga, the royal residence in Auckland. In South Auckland, thousands of Tongans gathered to pay their respects at a special church service.
It is a great loss, and it has united all Tongans in New Zealand.
Many parishioners remembering the Queen Mother as a hard-working leader who served the poor and less fortunate. She helped set up centres for people with disabilities in Tonga and worked tirelessly with the Girl Guides and the Red Cross.
She also used to say to me, remember, nobody owes you anything. You must remember that. Even if you have helped somebody, they don't really owe you anything because God gives you the strength and the ability to help others.
The princess had one more duty, to accompany her mother back to Tonga. Even in the rain, school students lined the road to the royal palace to show their respect. As night fell, thousands converged onto the royal palace for a special vigil and prayer. Along the palace fence line, mourners light small fires as part of the traditional taki po.
It's a Tongan protocol that we usually have for our royalty, who pass on the other side. It's not only a sign of respect, but it's a kind of signifies the hope that death is not the end, it continues on. So that's why we need to keep the fire going on. It started at 7 this evening. We'll go on until 7 tomorrow morning.
After 90 years of service to king and country, Queen Halaivalu's final journey was to the royal tombs, Malaikula, her final resting place. And now the official mourning period begins. In the past, it used to be 100 days. Now, it's only 10 days that the Kingdom of Tonga will mourn the passing of Queen Halaivalu Mata'aho.
I really appreciate how the King and the Queen have really trying their best to also accommodate for the businesses and trying to build up the economy as a whole.
I wish it to have been longer, but I believe the royal family, they considered today is no longer like the previous monarchy, but today is a different day and age.
The Queen Mother was the backbone of the royal family, and even up to her late 80s, she was still involved in her charity work. She may be gone, but her legacy lives on.
In our own way, My mother said that we can never stop change. What we should do is try to prepare for change. And she believed also that the strong and the most relevant and the best of our culture we should combine with our Christian faith.
O kuke ongo I whainga tā ia nai he ko fasta nunu mai e ngai pila, pe ange mai ha neve ka venga wha whamiri, pe ko lele o mai whakaukau I hange ha seti, pe a malo pe ha te tai accident he freeway. Ha o ke taim ko te sio pe ka kua ia, pe te loto lewa kita ke te alo kimo ta e puke pehe kansa, pe a ko lere hake mo tau whakatau malata ia I pe ha o hia, kono whai to o eni. Ko Merciful Hand Financial Services, ko mama teu ke toko ni I koe agi hao ki ino, ka malo I ake koloa whatonga. Iyo, ko Merciful Hand Finance Services, tene whai mes ma au, he ko mau tawi ia ke mau toko ni I koe, I hao fia mau hao no whakawawave, ka whakamanatu atu pe oku malo I koloa whatonga. Ko ia pe ia. Tā mai rewa ke whika telefoni, ono ni manoa, whawhitu taha ni matolu hiwa taha, whika telefoni, ono ni manoa, whawhitu taha ni matolu hiwa taha. Tā lewa kei taimi ka ke ongo I, o kuke nonga, fie maari e pia fia foki, I e kuonga honge pa angani. Koe hae tā whaanga wabe taha, ko Western Union, he wika ia o ke minite taha kua o ho paanga ki Tonga. Koe hae tā la whaanga o ku pau mo malua he o paanga. Koe Western Union, he te kalawa peo ngai ake na phone application, tā la whea he o paanga mea wheitu pe I mamani o I kai ke toi hela ki anau ofisi. Te ke ngau ake pe a ho debit, pe credit card, pe ko ho o bank account, o suto ngaton pe ia me ho akauni ke awhini ma ho o whaanga. Ko Western Union ko FOLAU tau ne whai whatongia mo tau kakai pa mo ne tokoni ke ngai tawhaaki kehe. Ko hea kau tātala whaanga kua o ke turiki kotoa o Tonga, ko Western Union. He kua tuu a maungai ofisi he ngai kolo I hake mo hifo o Tonga tapu, pea o kua o foki ki toke lau mamao. Kako eni, ko mausau te wanga peheni. O ka pau te ke riha a se niti si hifo I paanga ni mangiau, ko hono fees o paanga pe nima iyo, paanga nima ke riha o paanga ni mangiau pe si iange. Ko e whaunga lewa wanga peheni. Download the phone application in Western Union, click I he cash pickup, click I he pay in cash, te ke whanonga lewa ke ofisi o whitaha, o to tongi cash iai, pea ko ene click pe I he pay, ko ene click ia ke awhini maha o whaanga I Tonga. Ko Western Union, ko e click I Amerikani, pea ko ene click ia I Tonga I he taimi ta tau pe, tau click iai, ko e whanonga nongo ia pea me I he Western Union.
Koe whau e kua pulonga, tapu mo haa mohe ofo, pea tapu mo tau ana. Kai atka ke li atu he, ai fohe tupu a o hi fofua. He kuo efi ai kulope, I he ku fia fia.
Maloi Lele. On July 18, 1993, an historic event of major significance occurred during the anniversary of Hawaii's Polynesian Cultural Center. His Majesty King Taufa'ahautupo IV of Tonga visited Hawaii and bestowed an ancient chiefly title, Mafi Whakapotu, upon the president of the Polynesian Cultural Center, Lester Moore.
The King's gracious gesture both honors us and humbles us, because even as it validates all that we now do in the center, it is also a challenge, a royal challenge, to ensure that we continue to maintain the integrity of all of our cultural presentations and all of our activities. It is also a challenge to enlarge the spirit of the Polynesian Cultural Center, a spirit that unites, binds the people with dignity, love, and understanding.
President Moore presides over the 42-acre cultural center dedicated to preserve and portray Polynesian cultures and to provide job opportunities, especially for Polynesian students attending Brigham Young University in Hawaii. The investiture of the title was accomplished in a royal kava ceremony, the first time a Tongan monarch has bestowed a title upon a foreigner on foreign soil. It was a rare display of a sacred part of Tongan culture. In another significant gesture, His Majesty requested that Whaivaola Eric Shamway, Academic Vice President at BYU Hawaii, the only other Caucasian foreigner to hold a chiefly Tongan title, give the ceremonial oration during the investiture, an oration which calls for metaphysical and formulaic use of the high language. Whaivaola, Dr. Shamway, suggests other significant aspects of the royal visit.
I think there were many things that made this a very profound cultural experience, particularly in the way it united the Tongan community in celebrating their king. Also, the fact that His Majesty requested that students at BYU Hawaii perform some of the ceremonial functions in the Royal Kava Circle. This is a classic example of culture education and transmission. And finally, His Royal Majesty bestowed a high chiefly title, Mafi Whakapotu, upon President Lester Moore of the Polynesian Cultural Center. Mafi Whakapotu is one of the high-ranking talking chiefs among the attendants of Tungi, the representative title of the royal dynasty Ha'atakalawa, a title that His Majesty himself holds.
Finally, to appreciate the full significance of this day, one must first know something of the history of the Royal House of Tonga, the only remaining monarchy in Polynesia. The first kings of Tonga appeared as early as 900 AD, the Tu'itonga. By 1400, a second royal dynasty was created, the Tu'iha'atakalaua. By 1610, the third and most powerful line of kings emerged, the Tu'ikanokupolu. All these royal lines continued into the 19th century. The 19th Tu'ikanokupolu was Taufa'ahau, who became known as King George I, ruling in Tonga for 48 years until 1893. A devout Christian, Taufa'ahautupo I united all the Tongan islands under his leadership, freed the commoners from bondage to the chiefs, and granted a constitution in 1875, thus becoming the father of modern Tonga. Unlike other Polynesian leaders, he was able to steer a political course that kept Tonga for Tongans, avoiding the specter of annexation to foreign powers. When pressed by some of his people to yield to a particular foreign country, the king declared in a sweeping gesture, "We will give Tonga only to God." Hence the Tongan national motto, "God and Tonga are my inheritance," imprinted on the modern Tongan seal. King Tubo II, great-grandson of King Tubo I, acceded to the throne in 1893. Suave and sociable, he married Lavinia Veiongo, the great-granddaughter of Laufilitonga, the last of the Tuitonga royal line. This union produced Salote Mafileo Pilolevu, heir to the Tongan throne through two royal lines, and destined to be one of the most beloved personalities and leaders in the world. In 1917, Salote Pilolevu married Tungi Mailefihi, direct descendant of the Ha'atakalaua royal line. Well educated and deeply immersed in Tongan history and traditions, Salote was crowned in 1918 to reign for 47 years. Salote's union with Tungi produced 3 children in whom all 3 royal lines come together. The youngest son, Tukuaho, passed away in childhood. In 1947, Queen Salote presided over the double wedding of her sons Prince Taufa'ahau and Prince Fatafehi with Halaivalu Mata'aho and Melenite Tupo Moheofo at the palace. Besides being involved in matters of state, Queen Salote became the foremost poet and genealogist in her nation, taking pains to gather, teach, and preserve the very best Tongan traditions and customs. Salote encouraged the arts in ways that made dancing and singing an enduring part of the Tongan nature. She espoused the enduring love of being Tongan in her subjects. During her reign, the palace grounds and the surrounding compounds became the center of cultural activities. Tall, majestic, and gracious, Queen Salote was more than a superb poet and statesman. She was preeminently a mother and grandmother. Clearly, Queen Salote was beloved among her own people. But when was it she captured the imagination and the hearts of the world? It was in London during the coronation ceremonies of Queen Elizabeth II of England. Tens of thousands lined the streets to see the parade of monarchs from around the world. Unfortunately, it was a wet and rainy day, and the royal carriages were covered for the protection of the visiting kings and queens of the world. But not Queen Salote's carriage. She refused to cover up, explaining that if the people could get wet in honor of England's queen, so could she. For in the Tongan custom, one would never seek one's own comfort in the presence of majesty. Queen Elizabeth returned the favor in a royal visit to Tonga in 1953. When Queen Salote passed away in 1965, the world mourned, but the legacy continues. One of the most important parts of this legacy is in the person of her eldest son, Taufa'ahau Tupo IV, crowned on July 4, 1967. The rightful heir to each of Tonga's royal titles, Taufa'ahau is a devout Christian and a devoted husband and father.
Koe ahoni, ahoi tue, ahoi mawava, I he koroa, kua whakakoroa aki e hamo he ofo, ai koro whakaporinisia. Ko hai haloto e tai whiwhia.
In the preparation for the great day, the first crucial detail was to secure 3 large cover plants of ceremonial quality. Suitable plants are found on the island of Molokai, on the farm of Vili Faileha, a Tongan immigrant of several years. The search for the appropriate cover plants was conducted by Manasseh Nau, cultural specialist at the Polynesian Cultural Center and close relative of the king. Dressed in the ceremonial waist mat, he visits the kava farm.
Fai he motu ave hala e to katai kawa ke tali aki pe fatongia. Oi, ta koni ko ma mai ta ko pe ku malo.
Te si aki ta he meani na.
Koi.
Pe unga ke ave o au nai ko fai poke ki vai nga ko ni na kai te amana ke ki ta ya u ki tu unga ko ni he a honi.
Koi.
Ke pe he ke au nga ki he tau tamatui ka ki ha te amana ke ya nga ya ki ai. Tu e. Sa.
Hiyo hey! Go! Hiyo hey! Go! Hiyo hey! Okay.
The kava plants now safely flown to Oahu from Molokai. Takapu, the king's own talking chief, instructs Tongan students at BYU Hawaii in the ceremonial functions of the kava circle. Takapu, who presides over ceremonies at the palace in Tonga, was sent by His Majesty to teach the students correct protocol for the event. Assisted by Telanisi Ha'amango, Takapu explains here the serving function, the importance of details such as filling the kava cup, correct posture, and a dignified bearing.
Ko me ai o ko kore atu ai ke mo ai ai me a ko nia ke mahino ki ai ko ta mai ki poto ki moto ko ta mai ki ton o fonua fai fatongia mari e be hange e fai e fa na ko nia ponto
ki tai kere
ko ta ngi be ki fa na mo nu ia he na mo ui he tai mi pe he ni he ka ngalo ha me aia o ku ki ta fulu I ma ani oni pe kai ke ta.
As His Majesty arrives in Honolulu, Polynesian Cultural Center President Lester Moore is the first to pay his respects. He is joined by representatives of the center's island cultures who offer traditional songs and chants of welcome. Final preparation on the morning of the celebration included bringing in 9 large pigs, setting up tents and chairs for distinguished guests, and of course, decorating the royal shelter in the kava circle. Tongans from the community donate their time and their mats and tapa. Under the watchful eye of Takapu, Tonga students set the 9 huge pigs within the circle. The pigs are ceremonially prepared, their feet and snouts wrapped in banana leaves and laid on their backs, a symbol of the people's obeisance to the king. Besides the large whole pigs, Two other items of ceremonial significance are arrayed in the circle: the kava plants, unifying symbol of the Tongan society, and regal mats and tapa cloths, representing the finest and most precious workmanship of the Tongan women, fit for a king. Motuapuaka and Takapu, the king's talking chiefs, await the arrival of the king, while Tongan students of Brigham Young University haul in on a litter the featured kava plant, or kava toho. Her Royal Highness Princess Salo Te Pilolevu, the king's only daughter, comments on the significance of student involvement.
I feel that it is time for students outside of Tonga, not only for Tongan students, but for any student who is interested in Polynesian culture, to actually witness it. It will be the first time that my father has ever attended such a ceremony outside of Tonga.
The hour approaches for the king's arrival. Whaivaola gives a final explanation.
The highest talking chief in all of Tonga. Takapu is the talking chief and the attendant to the king in the palace. Invested in these two talking chiefs are the knowledge, the ceremonies, the protocol of the Royal Kava Circle. Motuapuaka will be guiding all of the ceremonies for today, and he will give explicit orders regarding every detail of this kava ceremony and the presentation of the gifts of food from President Lester Moore, who will be invested with Mafi Whakapotu.
The Hawaiian people as hosts are the first to greet the king as he arrives in Laie. Laie's multicultural community of some 5,000 people from all over the Pacific, Asia and mainland United States comes together in welcoming the king with cries of the traditional Tongan call to royalty. At the entryway to the BYU Hawaii campus, Hawaiian students perform a traditional kahiko to the king. Maori students from New Zealand form a spontaneous protective escort as His Majesty's entourage proceeds to the Royal Kava Circle. To the strains of E Otua Mafi Mafi, Tonga's national anthem, the royal family joins representatives of the Governor of Hawaii and other state and local dignitaries. Motuapuaka, the king's ceremonial mouthpiece, begins the proceedings with step-by-step instructions to the students in order that they might perform with correctness and grace. He uses stylized expressions of gratitude for each emblem of the ceremony presented to the king, drawing each expression out in elaborate emphasis of thanks. Motuapuaka orders an inspection of each of the gifts to ensure the quality and worthiness of each item. First, the 4 cover plants, symbols of Tongan solidarity. And then the 9 ceremonial pigs, whose size symbolizes those gifts most appropriate for a king. In an ancient gesture, the students lift each pig off the ground to show that no weapons are concealed beneath the food offerings. This gesture is received with a chorus of acknowledgement from the circle of chiefs, a symbol of reconciliation inherent in the kava ceremony itself. The students' participation is an historic event and approached with much anxiety on the part of the performers. Small errors are corrected by Motuapuaka throughout as the young men and women learn their culture, literally at the feet of their king. In this traditional ceremony, a woman always presents an offering of fine mats and tapa cloth to the king. This gift represents the highest quality of Tongan wealth and social values and occupies a place of preeminent importance in the circle. At the same time, it honors the place of women within the ceremonies of Tongan society and acknowledges them as keepers of the all-important cultural knowledge of mat and tapa making. Mats are not only useful objects of everyday life, they are symbolic of the genealogies and history of the culture and kingdom, and convey the exactness and dignity of the people's covenant with their king. Motuapuaka orders the preparation of the kava, the symbol of Tongan unity and strength. Kava is used ceremonially throughout Polynesia. Anciently, pounded or chewed, kava root mixed with water and drunk in a circle of chiefs would validate a marriage, ratify a treaty between opposing clans, reconcile a family, or confirm a chiefly title. The young students perform each part of the ceremony with diligence, even to the point of gracefully imitating the stylized movements of the laka-laka dance in the cutting of the kava plant. In Tongan legend, a poor couple having no gift for their king sacrificed their only child, a daughter, in his honor. From her burial place grew 2 plants, the sweet sugar cane and the bitter kava. And even today, these bittersweet offerings are representative of the people's total devotion to and covenant with their king. The kava plant has been divided into 3 parts. The central roots, or the royal part of the plant, is brought to be pounded for the king's kava drink. The 2 outer portions are brought forward as gifts to each of the 2 talking chiefs, Motuapuaka and Taakapu.
When the 2 highest ranking chiefs, Motuapuaka and Taakapu, arrive, one of the concerns is to share with the people of the Polynesian cultural centers the ceremony itself by having Fasitobo, one of our cultural leaders in the Polynesian cultural centers, to be in the position of perhaps one of the most important person in the kava circle. That is the man that mixes the kava, is himself. And then, of course, behind him and next to him, the group of students from BYU that are also part of the team of the Polynesian cultural centers. So the highest monarch of Polynesia, or the only monarch of Polynesia, accepted fully the participations of these students from BYU and the Polynesian cultural centers in the most sacred of the meetings and the ceremony, and being themselves the one that present and portray their cultures to the rest of the public. So right there is a strong validations of the authenticity of this event, not only here in the center, but the entire Pacific.
Atu avaihi kena mau fi pe motonga he koe whake heke nai maheni langa I he api ko ua le wā mo watu rowa I he kolo kakala ua langa I he ahon I he kolo polinisia I he otu motu ko waihi Whakapo! He mai moa tupu langi. Pore ai. Walau kau anga I tonga kotoa. Kau noa I ai. Ai motu a muri fia tonga o ku whakahoha ani. Whakawhetai Ki he tai hā mai He whakawhinanga loa A he lalo I paki Ke whakalekesi pēr mo pani Hatoi mo tua muri fia tonga e taha Pēr whakangafi Mari Kua matoko ua O lava ke mawhakawhea ngai Kua whakamoni ieni Ai ufi lei ko ia I tonga o ui Ko ufi lei fi ufi Ko whaiva aola ia mo mafi whakapotu Mari Koe o mātua, Mori, Kapi Tonga.
Following the oration, the students present the largest pig before the king, to be carved up at the king's request and distributed to the chiefs in the royal circle. Each portion is called a fono. The ritual carver, Telanisi Ha'amango, must divide the pig deftly without breaking a bone. Motu'apuaka will invite relatives of those in the circle to actually enter the circle and claim their fono. But first, the king's portion, or fono, will be accepted in His Majesty's behalf by Elder John H. Groberg, a general authority of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and close personal friend of the royal family. The time has come for the king now to receive his kava drink. Motu'apuaka gives the order.
Got it. We got it.
Each member of the circle will be served his cup, the symbol of loyalty and duty, or fatongia, to country and king. Takapu receives his cup, as does the Honorable Whakawhanua, noble and governor of the Ha'apai group of islands in Tonga. When Lester Moore is presented his cup of kava, he will drink it as a new chief, Mafi Whakapotu, respected guardian of culture in the distant place.
Mafakabot, koe nai whonua, moe whatongia, moe whalala kakato, ai hau mohono whare, moe hou eikio tonga kia te koe. Ke mau ia he ahoni, koe whakamanatu, koe whakamau. Hange koe malanga maari ne ta whanong kiai ane nai, a ho o konga tonga. Whakatawanga ke tau kakai, o whiunga mo hingoa, mo whatongia ko atu kia te koe, he hoa tāni, tua whatu. Mea ma whai maola.
Thus, for the Tongan people, the royal kava ceremony has been a time of communion with their king and a recommitment to the fundamental values that bind the Tongan society together: order, respect for authority, devotion to duty, and to community and family solidarity.
Manase mo whanau ako. Tō whatongia poto he ahon. Lava lere whatongia. Lava aho mawhakapotu. Malo obito. Hike toa.
The kava ceremony completed, the entertainment for the king begins.
Oku tau haka, he langi kua tau. I he koloa kua whakakakato I he ahon.
Yeah.
His Majesty and the royal family have a chance now to meet the press and other invited dignitaries before the grand feast, voluntarily prepared by the Tongan community. The food gifts to His Majesty include a massive table or pola of 100 suckling pigs, 100 crabs, 100 lobsters, 100 chickens, and 100 of every prepared dish.
O kui kai ya ta fa ki to no no wa ha fa to ke ha. He ko fa ka ka me he pangai o ta mo fa ka ba. O a we ke pangai o ta mo.
Your Majesties, it's an honor and a privilege to stand before you today and to represent our chairman, Elder Dallin H. Oaks, and Elder Joseph B. Worthland of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. We are honored to give a token of our appreciation for what you have done for us this day.
Mafi Whakapoto and the island peoples of the Polynesian Cultural Center honor His Majesty with modest, handcrafted gifts, which are symbolic of the admiration and esteem all Polynesian groups have for Tonga's royal family. His Majesty the King is linked by blood relationships to the island nations of Samoa, Fiji, and Tahiti, and by shared culture to the other groups throughout Polynesia. Here, women from Fiji bring highly prized mats and tapa cloth. Tahitian women bring fine cloth and shell jewelry. Gift giving is important in every aspect of the Tongan society. Tongans believe it to be essential to the principle of tauhiwaha'a, maintaining good relations. For a Tongan, one's wealth is often measured in what you give away, not in what you keep for yourself. Tongan students of BYU Hawaii present a fine fihu mat and a tapa cloth 8 feet wide and 100 feet long. After the formal presentations, the giving continues in spontaneous rewards of money to the dancers. This is known as whakapale. Whakapale on this occasion is inspired by love for their royal majesties and, of course, the appreciation of the crowd.
The Tongan, we all have the same feeling. No matter where you are, if you're here, you have your Royal Majesty will be here among us. We keep everything we have. Whatever we have, food, little money, matting, tapa, everything we have we give. That is our custom.
Isa, he aho e langa fo'ong, aho whakahistoria, e tu o lau I kuonga, kohonu mahu inga, o kutai whaalaua.
The celebration moves to a grand crescendo as Tongan and other students perform the Ma'ulu'ulu dance. Many of these Tongan students are not connected to their homeland, having been raised in Hawaii and U.S. mainland, but they identify profoundly with their culture.
I've always believed that the strength in a particular culture is how it can adjust to changing times. And I think that the Tongan culture is already changing with the Tongan people. I think it's very wrong to get people to adjust to a thing, to a culture. A culture will only survive if it adjusts to cater for the needs of its people. Polynesian culture is alive, and I think that's a very important thing. I think it also makes young Polynesians gravitate towards it because it shows that culture can be enjoyed. You know, it's not just a bookish thing, it's lived every day. But I think the other thing that we have to keep intact is to get the young Tongans overseas to learn Tongan, the Tongan language. I think language is a very important key to a culture, to its life. I think the Tongan culture is one of the most resilient cultures. And it has a great potential if we can adjust it to suit Tongan people.
Ko ta fogina he aho. Ko ni toki hoko anai me pehe I fono atu po I to. O te kia hei ki tua taimi. Ka te kia ke hoko ha mea pehe I tonga. Ke ha elia tu po o whai ha pongi pongi ki ngoa I ha fono mo. O hange ko ia ku hoko e aho.
I really enjoy myself. I look forward for the opportunity, especially to identify with the laka laka. I think it's a skill and art that I like to do very well in. Every time I begin a laka laka, I feel like I'm being elevated to an almost altered stage of consciousness, in that I believe it's a high form of entertainment for myself, not only in terms of the dancing and the singing, but in terms of the good things about Tongan, sharing, loving, brotherhood.
O whahakia, a te pātonga lahi ko nau whai, ai ngahi mea tokoni, moi fia, laka laka, maulu ulu, ai ngahi kau tā siasi keke, o nau hange pe, ka siasi pe taha I haon.
Kotu he ahone historia for o Tonga. Ko hiki mai a Tonga tu I Hawaii. Te he kuwakai koe a kume ku fia koe ahoni. Hange ka te au ko I kuna e tu po wha a Hawaii. He koe ni ko whai hono nau I Hawaii ni.
His Majesty comments on the importance of the Polynesian Cultural Center.
It enables, young Tongans and Maoris and Samoans and so on to know each other better. They don't have the opportunities that I have to travel and meet leaders and do things. So it's a very good thing. And I think it enriches, it's a principle that applies to people generally. If you learn to speak a foreign language and so on, it opens up a whole culture. You like to eat their food and see their dancing and understand and sympathize with their identities, separate identities. I think it's generally speaking, it's a good thing to know other people better because you appreciate them more.
Every Tongan grows up believing in his heart that Tonga is the best of all possible worlds. As this day ends, the generosity of spirit which unifies Tongans everywhere has embraced a world of many different cultures in a new unity, genuine love, and a shared respect for each other. In this manner, the title Mafi Whakapoto is bestowed in a center far from the homeland, yet close to a king's heart. By it, His Majesty leaves part of his duty, the charge that all men come together in freedom, spirit, cultural respect, and sharing. For it is these values which typify the reign of Taufa Ahautupo IV, both in the Kingdom of Tonga and among all peoples of the Pacific.
Koe lata anga ia oi sola moi vulangi. Pea koe whakamau luta anga ia. O e tau moto mo ui aki. Koe o tua mo tonga ko hoku to fi'a.
Paenga o e le tio VAKE tari FOLAU. Ai whakawhehoko taki anga o e tonga I he kolope. This is Radio VAKE tari FOLAU, where Tongans can connect globally.
My name is Salote Mafileo Bilolevu Tuita. I am the only daughter of His Majesty King Taufa'ahau Tupo IV in the Kingdom of Tonga in the South Pacific. Our country has progressed significantly under his leadership and at the same time preserved much of its precious heritage. Nothing quite captures the spirit of the Tongan people, their love of God, their king, and their country like the elaborate performances at a major celebration or katoanga. In June and July of 1998, His Majesty celebrated his 80th birthday. Among other things, it was a time of joyous dancing and singing, the likes of which have not been seen in Tonga in many years. I invite you now to enjoy some of these important traditional performances, for they say much about the heart of the Tongan people and their magnificent heritage.
One central feature of the Tongan heritage is that Tonga itself is a nation of dancers and singers. Just as it is known as the Fonuanga Ofa, or Friendly Islands, it is also known as the Fonua Faiva, land of performers and performances.
Oh yeah.
Another feature of this grand heritage is that whole neighborhoods, villages and districts come together at celebrations in a single production of singing and dancing. This means young and old, rich and poor, high rank and low, all people of the society unite to dance and sing and rejoice in their common legacy.
Kai whai a te mea koni. Whakawhofa pe i o tawa ho. Ka pau toi huluang he me whakawhofa koni a whakawhofa taha nai pangai. Tala te oal tai kofi pangai.
A third feature of this heritage is that Tongans have borrowed and adapted a number of art forms from other island nations and made them their own. TAKAI Lao, originally from the islands of Uvea, is a recent addition to the Tongan performing arts. Unlike most other Tongan whaiva, TAKAI Lao is performed only by men with stylized short spears. There is no singing, only the skillful handling of the spear, the percussion of feet and drums, and the energy and enthusiasm of the dancers.
In Tonga, there are so many dances that we import from other countries. For instance, Maululu, Mako, Tangwhaniwa, and several others, they were imported. The reason why Kai Lao came to Homa, it was I who brought this to Homa. There were foreigners here many years ago, and they lived in Hapai with the Tongans. And it was one of these Tongans who came and stayed with us. He came from Uvea, and they stayed with the Tongans in Hapai. And he did the Kai Lao with the axe. And people look, they never seen anybody doing this with quite a long axe. And he performed so well. They were very happy and they clapped. And then we knew he could play the Kai Lao. So when the ceremony came, I said to the Homa people, we're not having Lakalaka. We're going to have Kai Lao. Yes, I'll bring the man here. So I took him to Homa, and they all make up their stick, wooden, and then they learn, and now Homa can do it. They all performed Kai Lao there. Also, Matangyake, next to Lihona, they all performed Kai Lao there.
The most frequently performed large group dance in Tonga is the Ma'ulu'ulu of Samoan origin. Seated on the ground, men and women intermingling, the performers are accompanied by drums. The dance movements are accomplished by the upper body. Perhaps the most famous Ma'ulu'ulu outside Tongatapu is the group from Uiha Hapai. Yet Uiha's performance is a Ma'ulu'ulu with a difference. Composed by the late Penny Tutuila, this composition features women seated in front and the men performing standing up along the back. Not to be bound by convention, the composer combines elements of many different Tongan dances, the kailau, the ma'ulu'ulu, and the lakalaka. Not to mention the energetic drumming. The universal dance in Tonga is the tau'olunga, originating from the Samoan tau'alunga. Typically a solo performance, the tau'olunga features the hands, the feet, the face, and head of the performer. The sudden head movement to the rhythm of the music is known as whakateki. It is considered one of the most alluring aspects of Tongan dance. The most venerable dance among all the traditional dances of Tonga is the lakalaka, a communal group dance of up to 200 performers. These performers dance with energy and precision, much like their ancestors who excited early European guests with singing and dancing spectacles. Most likely evolving from an ancient group dance called me'elau fola, the lakalaka was invented by Paramount Chief Tuku'aho from the village of the Takamotonga. Some experts think the idea of the lakalaka may have been prompted by the dancing of school children, approved by the Wesleyan missionaries as a tool to learn mathematics or maths.
What they did was maths, as you know, maths, tables of maths there, and then they said, in Tongan, twice 1 or 2, twice 2 or 4, twice 3 or 6. And in Tongan, it's the same thing. But the school kids did not stand still. You have to lakalaka, which means move, or keep moving. So they pronounce their tables in mathematics by moving their feet this way. Move up and down. Move. 1, 2, 3, 4. Taha, ua, toru, fa. Keep on moving until they got that. And some inventors in Tonga said not only for education, but for entertainment. So they composed the lakalaka.
Although it may have had some beginning with school children, the lakalaka had emerged fully by the 1860s as a new art form in Tonga. By then, the Western harmonies introduced by Christian missionaries had made a powerful impact on Tongan music, especially upon the music of the lakalaka.
I think the music itself was fairly full-blown before the missionaries came, but the way everything was deployed, I mean, the parts, how the harmony was very much influenced by the missionaries. Before missionaries came, I believe much of the music was sung in the minor mode, but the missionaries effected a change that tended to majorize everything.
The lakalaka, meaning literally to stride back and forth, is an art form that eloquently combines poetry, choral music, and dance. The ta'anga, hiva, and haka. Like the cover ceremony, the lakalaka always affirms allegiance to the king and to the foundation and values of the Tongan society. Also, like the cover ceremony, the lakalaka reflects societal rank and acts as a vehicle for cultural transference.
Lakalakas, in my view, are some of the greatest music in the world. And they have this organization that somehow brings together the whole society.
Yes, of course, the lakalaka is a faithful photograph of the ranking of the people in the lakalaka itself. For example, the Wahenga, of course, are the highest chiefs, have the highest social status in that group, and the two whakapoto. The Taofi Wahenga, that is the second positions in both sides, men are the next ranking people in both sexes. And the third is usually reserved for the best dancer, Malie. And then the rest of the positions are up to the punake to fill in as he judges best. But there you have these key positions given to Tongan culture and social ranking.
Clearly, the two Wahenga are essential to the presentation of the lakalaka. They are paramount chiefs or children of chiefs. The male Wahenga must be of equal or approximate rank with the female Wahenga. If he is not present, the performance cannot proceed. For example, at one critical moment when the lakalaka from Kanokupolu, the king's village, was to perform at the royal celebration, the designated male Wahenga failed to show. No one of appropriate rank was present to perform that function except the Prime Minister himself, the Honorable Baron Vaya.
But then one person came up to me, he says, Vaya, you must come. I said, oh, what? What's happened? You must come and perform on the number one, because it is the village of the king, Kanukupolu, and they have come here to pay their respect to the king and to the grandchildren of the king. They have come. But the number one is not here. And to find out where he is, and we thought maybe someone replaces him. And we thought you are the one to come and replace him, and that you are very handy, you're right amongst the spectators there. So that is why I went in, to close the gap for the village and the people of the king, close the gap. Well, I should have had a little practice, but I didn't. But whatever I gather from my left, I'm very good at watching the left and right. Whoever is performing there, I can sort of look over and knew that we are turning left or turning right. And that's why you saw me there standing in as emergency for the missing person.
As important as rank and chiefly status are, The excitement of the lakalaka is in the singing and precision dancing of the entire group. The movement of the men is expansive and made up of grand flourishes. It is free, virile, and strong. The movement of the women is contained largely in the upper body, most compellingly in the arms and hands. It is restrained, soft, and graceful.
I guess I tried to learn that from the Tongans. I would try to find out what it is that they were looking at that made someone a good dancer or the best dancer or the malietaha. And usually it seemed to me what they were pointing out was how their whole upper body was used, and especially how their head was used. And so this little whakateki that they do is always, I think, a very important element on choosing or deciding whether somebody is a good dancer or not. Now sometimes that whakateki is choreographed in, but usually it isn't. And so it comes from the feeling in the inside, the warmth coming out when you are exhilarated. And usually I found that that was the first thing that they looked at, is how they move their head. And quite often when the feathers are in their hair, how the feathers sort of moved as they moved their head. So that was usually the first. Also how they held their upper body, whether it was straight, didn't move a lot. They usually don't move their shoulders a lot, but hold their upper body straight, and how their lower body, especially for women, just moves very slightly to the right and then slightly to the left, and never moving your hips in the way that, say, a Hawaiian or a Tahitian dancer would do.
Certainly the power and grace of the dancing and the rich harmonies of the singing, together with elaborate costumes, make up the unforgettable spectacle of the lakalaka. But it is also the poetry, the lyrics or ta'anga of the lakalaka that capture the Tongan imagination.
The poet often organized his lyrics or ta'anga in three parts, beginning with the whakatapu, or the formal acknowledgement of royalty and guests. Then came the kaveinga, or the principal subject matter of the performance. And finally the tatau, or the conclusion. In earlier days, composers would often include what was known as fetau, good-natured bragging and self-congratulations by the composer, at the expense, of course, of other composers and performing groups. This practice seems to have disappeared.
Maungawe aki whakapuna ke, koe tau aki whetau. Ke maua e, me au kui koe maarie. Whakapunak. Pehe pe e koe ia pe. Pehe pe e punake koe ia pe. Kai whai mai. Punake, Queen Charlotte. Ana e tuku lolo lewa e mau tau ati tuku hua koia. Ange lewa kumbore atu whahinga ifo. He nai aha no ifo. Mau pagitaha punake whakalongo pe. Tala pe he ngā wei malai. Ha e te ngau e whai. Māri e te whaiwa e ha pangai. Ka kou e te whaiwa whai pangai. Ha e pehe anga e mau whaiwa. Pau mau ke ngau e ki au pe hoi.
Tāwhaka osi te hei pe fūre vai.
like that of the Faifekau or minister of the church and the Matapule, or the chiefly spokesman in the cover ceremony. The Punake's duty is to help inculcate the traditions and values that make up the Tongan identity, love of King, God, and all things Tongan.
Mahalo be o ku whakaukau e toko lahi koe kihe Punake ko hamea whai ngofua. Koe tangata Punake o kai te whaikekehe mo tangata Faifekau o kune pure e hawahenga lotu. O kune tauhi e fukakai. Pea koe ku whakaukau ka hala pe ne tauhi, ko ne whihala ki e ne ngā uwhai. Pea ula ki mea koe e Punake ko whakaukau ki ai, totonu ke ni hanga ilo ia. O totonu apito ke hanga e tangata Punake o ilo ko hai ko aia. E toku Punake.
Indeed, the Punake is the great purveyor of Tongan culture, and the lakalaka is the preeminent art form. Composed in the 1930s by the Punake Niuingatoni Liu from the village of Navutoka, the No'oanga depicts the ancient art of catching sharks. This ingenious composition was written in honor of the present king as a young scholar. As such, the No'oanga is a grand artistic metaphor. As the great Tongan fishermen were successful catching sharks, so will the royal heir be successful in his studies. Of course, the power of the metaphor lies in the history and legends surrounding the ancient art of shark catching, unique to the village of Navutoka and the little island of Eueki. For these ancient fishermen, shark hunting was a sacred ritual that involved the entire village. The technique was so dangerous, it required the villagers to take on obligations of reconciliation and forgiveness to gain divine favor. For the fishermen, the place of purification and reconciliation was the falesiu, the fishing house, where a ritual cover ceremony was held.
Koe whaikawa ko ia kua pau ke whaia ke maoni oni koe maa. Koe falesiu ia. Pea whailewa e FOLAU ia koe siu ki hakau. Kua pau ke maoni oni a uta falesiu, pea maoni oni pa moe. Moe waka e ne FOLAU whai e whatongia tautai.
Preparation included important items: a rope for the lasso, or maya, food for the fishermen, or manava, chunks of pork for the bait, or mounu, and a device called whangongo to shake in the water to attract the sharks. Each canoe was prepared with care, without argument or contention of any kind. The fishermen are called Sinilau, after the famous lover of the shark goddess Hina. The sharks are referred to as Hina.
Hina e! Maanu anu mai! E kua lulu e whangongo! O ka hoa tuinga papai! Ofo! Pēmiri mai! Ofo! Whakataha ia mai! Koe kātoa lai whai,
As Hina appears, the Sinilau must not show fear. Otherwise, the spell will be broken and the sharks will not approach. If the sharks keep their distance, the captain orders one of the Sinilau to leap into the ocean with gifts of food for Hina and lead her back to the canoe. When the captain sees the sharks following Sinilau, he shouts, "Malie, Malie, bravo, excellent."
Hina ko kafano to ko yai. Ko kari ko ifatan. Ko tau mafa ko ivai. Be mai o fie mari ai. Be mai o tofai.
The captain then shouts, "Viri, Viri Beahoko, turn and come into the noose." Going for the bait, the shark swims into the noose lowered in the water by the Sinilau. Because it is forbidden to shed the blood of the shark, the fishermen kill it with a mallet. With each blow, the Sinilau shout, "Deao, 100. The shark is then heaved into the boat. With their precious catch, the captain orders the Sinilau to return home. As they approach the shore, conch shells are blown to inform the villagers the fishing has been successful. The entire village celebrates the voyage and distributes the catch. The largest portion will be taken to the royal compound. The rest will be distributed to the families of the village. Thus the No'oanga Laka Laka preserves and portrays an ancient ritual, which is part of the identity of the people of Navutoka. The significance of the No'oanga Lakalaka lies in its praise of the king, who from far and wide in the world has brought the fruits of progress to Tonga during his reign.
Ola tautai. Bebe, pamea masi, nekei, paremia, fai mai no au hene tu. Mo kei fai pe siu. Siu taka pe mamani. Ko mi hamea ke, o mi ki hono kakai.
A new face and a new name among Tongan composers was featured during the King's birthday celebration. Mere Suipi Whakatavalatu is the daughter and granddaughter of famous Punake from Vava'u, headmistress of a school for girls and a minister in the Free Wesleyan Church. Mele had never composed a lakalaka. But when she was asked by Princess Pilolevu herself to be the punake of one grand lakalaka representing all of Vava'u, Mele set herself to the task.
Kaga ulaki fayen e awe lakalaka o fatu e fai hono whakawhasi e fai mohono whakahaka. Aia ku fo'ou au pito ia ki e toka lai. Ko e ikai ngatai ko tui mahalo ko e rock for whiwhine pēni ko ne whai ha lakalaka o fotu moia I haka atoanga lalai te hene.
Mele's lakalaka was not all newly created. She used many melodies which she remembers from her famous father and grandfather, Whakatawa.
Ai koe whasia koe, te teo koe tahai e ngahi matai ko loa, koe treasure. O kui hok whamiri. Pa koe taha uhinga ko ngai ake pe ngahi whasi, koe whenke whakatolonga tuk whahalo. Koe whanonga pe, ai ni ihina na wako whaiva he tangata e ki pe koe kui, o mahina lelei pe, koe tuk whakahalo e. Ka ale e tala ki tu aku Wanga e tala e fonu ua bea ka ia ale ya e he kua wanga e malu e lupe.
The lyrics o ta'anga of Mele's Lakalaka are in praise of the life of His Majesty, King Taufa'ahau Tupo IV. Unrestrained praise of the royal throne is typical of many Lakalaka, but unlike the typical ta'anga, Mele's lyrics broke with tradition by avoiding elaborate poetic metaphors and difficult allusions called heliaki.
Ako tuwi, ni fatu ko ni kai ke yai ha me da ke fufu. Og to tonu ke fola. Ko I ko hai e I pangai he a ko ya. Taha tamai ia mo taha kai ke tamai. Taha ku ilo mo taha ke I. Ko sala mo habulang. Og to tonu ke ilo. Ko tau anga ai tamani. Og haka haka ai fonua ya.
Mele Whakatawa and the people of Vava'u moved the vast crowds at His Majesty's birthday celebration by the sheer size of their lakalaka and by the quality of the performance.
It was a village participation, a community thing, this lakalaka. So we would have grandmothers, mothers, grandsons, and great-grandsons or great-granddaughters participating. All four of them, of the generation, would be participating in this lakalaka.
It was an absolutely stunning sight. The fact that you have a female composer doing something traditionally reserved for men, that caught a lot of people's attention. And the fact that they had performers from all over Vava'u. Most lakalaka groups are village specific. But here the traditional rivalries between villages, schools, clans, churches, all disappeared in this wonderful manifestation of a united Vava'u.
They said that never before in their lives had they actually grown to know and love each other. They knew each other as villagers, but they didn't have that national feeling. It was wonderful, but all the churches sent representations, and it was joyous to see. Before, people didn't know each other's names from villages, from towns, from small islands. Now they do. They wave to each other when they see each other. They talk to each other. And it was a feeling of wholesomeness, of well-being, of being a vava'u national. I love dancing. I've been dancing since I was a child, informally. Although it wasn't easy, it was a challenge because 13 verses in the lakalaka is a pretty long lakalaka. My husband was rather nervous at performing in the lakalaka. This was his very first lakalaka. He had never danced before, any Tongan dancing. So to perform the lakalaka, which is the essence of Tongan traditional dancing, was a heavy responsibility for him.
Thus, the Vava'u Lakalaka, the Ma'imoa, was a fitting combination of the old and the new, of the traditional artistic conventions and the creative imagination of a young female punake.
But just by performing that ta'anga was a very spiritual feeling for me. Just hearing that tremendous roar of singing, from behind me was something I had never experienced before. It was a different mafana that I experienced that day.
As excellent as all the performances are, the lakalaka from Tataka Motonga on Tongatapu provides the grand finale to the King's birthday celebration. Led by Malukava Vaikona Kawaifiafi, third in line of great composers, the Tataka Motonga lakalaka has a mystique all its own. Because of their special relationship with the royal family and in honor of their noble ancestors, the performers wear black costumes decorated with aromatic flowers and leaves specific to their village. Consider the place where the lakalaka developed as an art form and home of the king's father, Tungi Mailefihi. The Tataka Motonga has set a standard of artistic excellence over the years which many villagers aspire to. Fiercely proud of their place in the artistic heritage of their past, the Tataka Motonga Lakalaka performs with an air of confidence and grace, difficult to match.
Fai tataka motonga mo ufonua ke he e fenga ufonua ke he ke lolo tataka motonga he mea koe fai hai kai pe ke lao e te nau pas tatau pe kai ke pasi be tataka motonga i e hange hapaha man te ang oso ka moni be he ahon ka hiwa o kutau hiwa ka tokotoa pe kai ke he pe hiwa tataka motonga ka aka he kere kere o kutau aka tatau pe kere kere kai ke aka vai ua hafeitu ka aka kata tataka motonga ke aka tatau Kau kami ulai pe akata takamotong. Kau uhinga kau nau lotok kiai. Mali. Ya kifai fakaha monololo. Kau kau gitu elam. Kau pore pe ngata takamotong amo fin takamotong. Kau nau
Days before the king's birthday performance, the Tataka Motonga villagers practiced before Her Royal Highness, Princess Saalote Mafileo Pilolevu Tuita.
When you watch the Tataka Motonga people, they're such brilliant performers. Every individual seems to be a brilliant performer, but they seem to be all performing as one body. Of course, they are the original Lakalaka, the Motonga is, but it's the spirit of a Lakalaka. It's the Ta'anga. It's how people feel when they're performing and they're singing. I think that makes them a good Lakalaka.
E whai ngata a tataka motonga ke kita e tala koe toko taha umari o tatau i he whiwhini mo e tangata ke guai tangata neongo ini haka tatau mo pas tatau ka e hanga hano ulu ona ka haasi maari pe e hanga e hono mata o ka haasi maari Whaka tau hange koe whehui i tataka motonga. O gui ai e whahinga whai e fwoi haka i tataka motonga a kui koe musu. Koe patu ki lalo, o punou, o te kalo, i koto ulu hange koe whatapu o si ono whai, ke fuka he kere kere. O si lawa pe tangata tataka motonga, ke ne kalo whihono ulu arua ke moe musike, pe koe kere kere. I hono ngutu hange koe whatapu o si ono whai. He kai lawa i hatama meha wheitu na alawe hono ngutu. Te kai lawe ha tama ko unga whakapukopi ko hono ai.
joy, they revel in the celebration, dance in the spirit of their ancestors, and sing with the voice of their past. Neither a cold rain nor increasing darkness could dampen the spirit of the Tataka Motonga Lakalaka. Their performance was a grand declaration of their heritage, for themselves and for all Tongans.
Te sio ko ke tu amal kala ko I mu ai fai wa ko ta takamoto I kai ke ngata pe ko sio ako ma ko fai wa fa fa ta sio aku e fa mau te sa tu ko ke ne tu ko e o fa pa pau ai me ana ne fai ko kawi he me amau inga ta na fi ya ka to I malai ko sio ke kakai o na mui mo molo mui wa I he mea nai whai he nau ngahi kui, we nai I loa ai.
One always has to concentrate on the perfection of one's movement because you are the center, and you are the most important person there as the Vahenga. But as a Tongan, I adore impromptu dancing and spontaneity. Is the spirit of some of the Tongan dancing. So you can relax as a whakapotu. And you can also look around at people and see their reaction.
As with all activities where the king presides, the day's celebration concludes with the Tongan national anthem, which is a prayer for His Majesty. O Almighty God, who art our Lord and our protector thou, thy love for Tonga is sure. Hear our prayer we offer now, and grant our one desire, preserve and save Tupou, our King.
Koe tanya haua whakawhiawhia. Ko hinga koe mato'o atu e kawenga o ku mawhasia e tonga kotokoto. O kai ko hinga ko hapōpula, e ko hawhakapōpula I kene whai, ko hinga ko neongo. Ai hausia he tamatui, ko haui o tonga, Hola tau alofi. Be aku toton pe ke puke he ku hanga he faiwa mo te mahu inga ai o puke mai whahinga urungaanga whakatonga whekau aki mo whakaapa ko whetokai aki ko whe ofani o mahu inga au kito ke puke
ko whakaamu whoki mau tolu koini tau i whanua e hau pe whakalakalaka i a whai kai kei tū mau pe a ngai tonga o loto i tonga whakaapa apa whanau taki mua ngai koe hou eiki tū i whakaapa apa he mea kotoa a koe e whakaamu pe e motua koini ke mālohi ange mea tū wai tū i he eiki mo e lotu kene toi whakafoki pe a tonga ke tūnga motu. Ke alpe whakalakalaka e kai tūma upe hanga tonga ai.
We have always been concerned with what is important in the Tongan way of life. This celebration has brought out all the goodness in Tongan people, all the goodness in Tongan life. The most essential part is love. You cannot divert from that.
Eneto, na maunga ki he tohi